Namaste. Good evening. This is Dr. Aparna. I am an Ayurvedic psychotherapist. I act as a catalyst and support your emotional healing journey. I am an emotional healing synergist. I am a medical writer and an infopreneur. So, in my pursuit to address, promote, and propagate Ayurveda and psychotherapy globally, I come up with either discussions or talk throughs, or I speak on topic related to Ayurveda and mental health. So, from the last two sessions, we were discussing about narcissistic personality disorders. So what is narcissism, as a personality trait, and narcissistic personality disorder? So today we are going to discuss the most requested aspect, that is, most people have messaged me and said that they want to know, how will they get to know that they're dealing with a narcissist person, in maybe in their personal life or maybe in their professional life, their bosses or their managers. So how do they get to know that? So we are going to discuss that today. So when I talk of general red flags, see, as I said, a narcissistic person has a grandiose sense of self importance. So what they do is they always exaggerate their accomplishments, believe that they are exceptional, and always expect special treatment. So, for example, your partner or colleague constantly brags about their past achievements, even if they are insignificant. So, and the second thing is they are preoccupied with success and power. So, they are obsessed with wealth, status, and having the best of everything. So, your friend or coworker frequently talks about their dream of becoming famous or powerful. So, next thing is they need constant admiration. That means they fish for compliments, become enraged if they don't receive them, and dismiss those they see as beneath them, or they dismiss those people they see that they are inferior to them. That means, for example, your family member or boss gets angry if they don't constantly receive praise for their work. So the next quality is lack of empathy. They cannot relate, or they cannot relate to or understand others emotions, and often come across as cold or uncaring. So, for example, your partner or coworker shows no concern for your struggles or celebrates when you fail. So, the next thing is exploiting others. So, they use or manipulate others to get what they want, with no regard for other person's feelings. For example, your friend or colleague befriends you hoping to take advantage of your connections or resources. And the next thing is envious, and they believe that others are envious of them. They are always envious of others, and they also believe that others are envious of them. So they resent others' success and either belittle those they envy or insist everyone is jealous of them. So they always resent others' success. That means they do not celebrate others' successes and belittle others, though especially those they envy. and they always insist that everyone is jealous of them. So, for example, they claim that your promotion or good grade only came, about due to luck, or that your colleagues are secretly jealous of you. So, the next quality is arrogant and haughty. That means they talk down to others. They act as if they are superior. They always have a superiority complex and dismiss others concerns that don't center around them. For example, your date or colleague frequently makes condescending remarks about others intelligence or appearance. They always talk ill of others intelligence or others appearances. So the special red flags in personal relationships are something called as love bombing. That means this could also be people will not hope that a person who is love bombing, I'll tell you what love bombing is a narcissistic person, could be a narcissistic person. That means they shower you with excessive attention, gifts and affection early in the relationship, you know to sweep you off your feet. So you will think that this person will keep me always happy. So they love bomb you with excessive attention, with gifts and affection, early on, to impress you. So the next thing is idealization or devaluation. That means they first idealize you, but when the infatuation wears off, they become critical, dismissive, and cruel. The things, the first, in the first few days or few months of relationship, they idealize you. But when once the infatuation comes down, they become critical of you. They become dismissive of you, dismissive of your concerns, and they become cruel as well. So the next main thing is gaslighting. People ask me, what is gaslighting? So gaslighting is they distort your reality, making you question your own memories, your own sanity and perception of events. That means gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation, that in which a person or a group sows seeds of doubt in a targeted individual, so making them question their own reality, memories and sanity. So it's a subtle and insidious tactic often used by the abusers to gain power and control over their victims. So, how does the gaslighting work? The first thing is denial. So, the gaslighter always denies, obvious facts or events. So, he or she might say, I never said that. You are imagining things. You're imagining things. So, denial. Second is contradiction. That means they present information that directly contradicts the victim's memories. So you always exaggerate. You are remembering it wrong. So they always directly contradict the victim's memory. Next thing is minimizing. So they downplay the victim's feelings or experiences. So what they do is they say you're being too sensitive. It wasn't that big of a deal. Don't do drama. So they always downplay the victim's feelings or experiences. The next thing is diversion. They shift the focus away from their own behavior by accusing the victim of being crazy, overly emotional, or untrustworthy. So they divert the issue. Next main thing is what they do is isolation. So they attempt to cut the victim off from friends, family, or outside support. That means making them dependent on the gaslighter. So, examples of gaslighting. So, in a romantic relationship, if a partner repeatedly hides objects, then insists the victim is losing their mind and when they can't find them. So he repeatedly hides the objects, and then he or she insists that the victim is losing their mind. Over time, what happens is the victim begins to question their own memory and their own sanity. In a workplace, you know, a co-worker spreads rumors about other employee being incompetent. So the targeted employee questions their abilities and performance despite consistent praise from superiors. So, what this narcissist coworker does, he or she spreads rumor about another employee being incompetent, so that the victim finally has to, comes into that state where he or she is questioning his or her abilities. In the family dynamic, so a parent constantly tells their child that they are selfish and ungrateful despite the child's efforts to be helpful. A parent constantly telling their child that we have given you all this, you are selfish, you are not grateful, even though the child is putting efforts to be helpful. Eventually what happens is the child believes that uh, he or she is a bad person, is worthy of nothing. So these are some examples of gaslighting. Then if I have to talk about specific red flags in a professional relationship with a narcissist, so what happens if your boss or your super boss is a narcissist? He or she always takes credit and blames others. They always are quick to claim success, even for their team efforts, and detect blame onto others when things go wrong. They always undermine coworkers. That means they may sabotage or gossip about colleagues to make themselves look better by comparison. They are hypersensitive to criticism, so they cannot handle any constructive feedback, often lashing out or denying responsibility. So, example case scenarios here are the credit stealer. For example, there is a woman who consistently works hard on a project, but during presentations, her manager always presents the work as if she has done it on her own. So she praises herself, and she never makes an attempt to at least even mention this person's contributions are never mentioned. So this person is a credit stealer. The next is an underminer. So there is a man who is constantly frustrated by his teammate, a teammate who seems deliberately uncooperative. Important emails always go unanswered. This person's belittles this person. The narcissist belittles that person, and finally the victim, and what he does is he subtly spreads gossip and criticism about his colleagues capabilities. This is the underminer. The third example is the raging reviewer. That means a person submits a report in which he acknowledges an area of improvement. So what happens is her boss angrily calls her incompetent and berates her publicly because she is acknowledging his his and submitting him a report that this area needs to be improved. This area is a concern for improvement. That's why what the narcissist person does is he angrily calls her incompetent and berates her publicly because he can't stand criticism, even though it is constructive criticism. When the person tries to explain, he always accuses her of being defensive and unteachable. Instead of accepting his mistake, and he accepting that this area actually needs improvement, he always blames her. So these are the examples and some red flags, the general and the specific red flags of dealing with a narcissist. So we will discuss types of narcissistic personality disorder and some other interesting facts about narcissism in the next session. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Namaste.